A very good afternoon to all the participants. I welcome you all for the afternoon session. In the afternoon session, we have simulation precursor to cyber physical systems. So we'll be having some demonstration and practical examples with respect to PLCs and robots. I would now request Sendil sir and his team to kindly take over the session.
Oh, okay. So Prashant, we will start with this small presentation, introductory presentation. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please.
Then after,
Please go ahead.
we will have Jagdishan. You have to shift the presenter to Jagdishan, and
Oh.
he will be presenting the demonstration with Cirrus robot. So that is what is planned for the afternoon session. So
Yeah.
we will begin with the presentation now. Okay. So I think you can see my screen now. Okay. So this afternoon part is the robotics. Of course, robotics is one other important thing that is currently being employed in the industry. You would have seen in the earlier session where cobots are also there. Of course, they are all part of the manufacturing scenario as of today. So we will see this feature with our software known as Cirrus. So yesterday we saw Cirrus Mechatronics, where it was possible for us to simulate mechatronic models that were present, similar to those that is usually used in the industry. Now we will look at the robots. So of course, Cirrus Robotics has got a wide range of robots. In fact, about 15 odd manufacturers are there in this, and about 1,500 robots are available as per the original manufacturer specification. That means you can pick up any robo model by a given manufacturer from the Cirrus software itself as such. So that we will see in the demonstration part, but we will see a little bit of theory. Of course, it is not intended to teach here, but just to go through that as such. So if you look at the definition of the robo, a robot is something which is automatically programmed and it can be reprogrammed also, which can be used for multi-purpose as well as a manipulator. So these programs can be at least for affecting 3 or more axes. Then it is defined as the robot as axis can be programmed and reprogrammed. Then we call that as a robot as such. Generally, the robot anatomy is similar to our human body. So it has got a waist, a shoulder, elbow, wrist, and the tool, which are same like our body, which is having the waist, then similarly the shoulder, elbow, and the wrist. So basically, there are different types of robots actually. So you have something like the rectangular coordinate robots. There are the cylindrical coordinate robots. There are the spherical coordinate robots, and there is the articulated arm. Of course, there is also the gantry robots and also the SCARA robot. So we will look at these robots in brief in the coming slides as such. So if you look at the polar coordinates, these robots can be raised and lowered about an horizontal pivot. So you can see there in the diagram where you can lift and lower this entire arm there. So let me go to the pointer. So you can lift and lower this thing like, and also it can be rotated. So that is what is this polar coordinate. The pivot is mounted on a rotating base. So you have this thing, whole thing rotating this way or that way. And these various joints provide the robot the capability to move within the spherical space. So that is why it is also known as spherical robots also. So this is how you have the possibilities of moving the robot within the sphere. So that is why these robots are also called as spherical robots as such. Of course, there is the other robot known as the cylindrical robots. Now, in the cylindrical robot, the column moves up and down. That means you can slide along on the vertical axis, like up and down there, and also radially move this arm this way and that way. So that is the other possibility there. The use of this vertical slide, you can slide it up and down, where you can move up and down, and the robot arm also slides along and it can move radially, because this axis you can move along this way and that way. So you have both vertical as well as the horizontal, something comparable to a cylinder. So that is why it is known as a cylindrical robot. So the Cartesian robots are the other variety of robots which can move on 3 axes. That means perpendicular to each other, these 3 axes are there. They can move along in the vertical direction, or maybe in the horizontal, or maybe back and front, something like that. So therefore it results in X, Y, and Z movements, and that is why these are known as the Cartesian robots. So moving the 3 slides relative to one another, the robot is capable of operating within a rectangular envelope, and these are also called as the gantry robots as such. So because you can move in the X, Y, and Z directions. So the articulated or jointed arm configuration is something like an articulated arm, similar to the human arm as such. It consists of 2 straight components. Okay. It consists of 2 straight components corresponding to the human forearm and the upper arm, something like this. So mounted on a vertical pedestal, these components are connected to a rotary joint corresponding to the shoulder of the elbow as such. So you have also the rotary movements possible between these joints as such, and there are 2 parts which are mounted between them. So this is known as an articulated arm, similar to the human thing. Like the SCARA robot is a special case of an articulated arm, where the shoulders and elbow joints are able to rotate about the vertical axis. So you have these 2 joints like the earlier articulated jointed arm robot, but it is also able to rotate. The full form or the acronym of SCARA is nothing but Selective Compliance and Assembly Robot Arm. So this is what the SCARA means as such. They are basically meant for assembly purposes as such, because you can do move along those vertical 2 joints, as well as you can rotate about that joint. So that is why it is known as the SCARA robot. So you can see here, you can move up and down, and you can also rotate between them as such. So if you look at the robot specification, you look at how many possibilities of freedom or degree of movement is possible within the robot as such. Each joint generates a freedom as such. So you can look at how many possible movements is achievable with the help of these robots actually. So now we will look at some of the specifications in considering a robot as such. So one is the accuracy. So how does the robot get to the desired position is what this accuracy means as such. So the distance between the specified position that the robot is trying to achieve from what has been specified in our program. So what is the closeness to which it has achieved to the desired position is what is this accuracy means as such. Repeatability on the other hand, the robot is now reaching to certain accuracies, but how often it is able to move to this specific position that has been specified in our program is what is the repeatability. So of course the degree of freedom, each joint has on the robot introduces a degree of freedom. So these degrees of freedom that a manipulator possesses is the number of independent ways the robot can move as such. So basically you will have 5 to 6 degrees of freedom usually available in a robot which is present in these days in the industry. So the resolution is nothing but the smallest possible achievable position as such. So if you were to give a small pulse to the robot, then how how small it is able to move. Maybe if you want to move 1 degree, 2 degree, or maybe in minutes or something like that. So that is what is the resolution. So the capability of moving to the smallest possible distance for every small pulse that is given is known as a resolution as such. So envelope is another thing, like that is the working area to which this robot can reach. Of course, there are different sorts of possibilities there. So the envelope can range somewhere between 3000 in a spherical space, or maybe in terms of reach, it is about 2550. Of course, we will see what these robots, what we are trying to program, what is their ranges in terms of the reach and the uh, other specific spherical distance as such. So the reach is the maximum horizontal distance from the center of the robot base to the end of the wrist that can be achieved with the help of the robot as such. And of course, the speed of the robot is also in consideration in the selection of the robot. So the robot moving at full extension with all the joints moving simultaneously in complementary directions at full speed is what is the speed that is specified as the achievable speed as such. Of course, we are using the robots to carry out work. So what is the ability of carrying the weight, maximum possible weight that can be carried is what is also to be specified and to be considered in selection of the robot as such. So let us now look at the robot which we will be trying to program in the Cirrus software. This is actually the Mitsubishi robots. Of course, we can also use other manufacturer models of the robo as such, but right now we will try to use Mitsubishi robo, which can be programmed with Melfa Basic 5, which we will be trying to use in this robotic program as such. So basically, this Melfa Basic Mitsubishi robot, what we are using with the help of Melfa Basic program is RV2AHA. This is one of the types of robo which Mitsubishi manufactures. There are plenty of varieties. So one of them is the RV2AHA, which we will be selecting our model from our model library as. So the technical specification of this is it has got 5 degrees of freedom without the gripper arm. So it is an electric AC servo motor, which its reachable is about 410. That is from the center of the base, it can reach up to 410 as such. Of course, the joints also have a restriction. So joint number 1 has got 300 degrees. So minus 152 plus 150 degrees as such. And the velocity maximum you can achieve with this type of robot is about, this axis is about 180 degrees per second as such. Similarly, the other rotation joint, which is again not to the extent of the first joint, it is about 180 degrees. That is, in one direction it can move up to minus 60 degrees and the other one 120 degrees. But the velocity maximum achievable is about 90 degrees per second. So the third joint is again where you could get about 230 degrees and with a maximum velocity of about 135 degrees per second as such. The fourth joint is about 180 degrees and again about 180 degrees per second as such. The fifth joint where you can move up to 400 degrees, that is the reach, it is about 400 degrees and with a velocity of about 210. So the maximum speed with this AC servo is about 210 mm per second. And the payload capacity is about 2 kg, whereas the repeatability is about 20 microns, and the mounting position you have to mount it in horizontal as such. The other features, of course, regarding the temperature, where it can provide reliable results, is about 0 to minus 40 degrees, and it is about 17 kg in weight. So some of the Melfa basic commands which we will be using are mentioned here. So move point to point is one of the command where if we type MOV and to instruct the position, we can reach to that position as such. Then similarly, move linear, you can move in a linear fashion also. So we can say that it is going to move MVS straight to that particular point or position which we have named there. Similarly, move linear with up upward or downward offset. That means it will reach to that position, but not exactly to that, but to the extent what offset has been set over there. It might move with a negative offset or a positive offset. Similarly, move point to point to a position above or below. You can not only move linear, but from point to point also is possible. Move linear is something straight, but point to point, the robot will decide to interpolate and see how best it can reach to that point with the interpolation. So here we can say move position, and with the whatever offset, to move point to point with offset given there. So the gripping of the robot is possible with H close, and similarly the release is with H open. You can create a delay in one movement to the other by saying DLY and specifying the amount of delay you want. So similarly, you can also set the speed of each of those movements with specifying the number after this command SPD. Similarly, you can decide upon the acceleration to reach to that position with the help of this command ACCEL. Similarly, we have a repeat mode where you can make cyclic motion with the help of this robot by instructing go to with a symbol name there, maybe a star with some specific things. So where we will refer to, the robot will take up that position immediately. So this is what I wanted to just give you a brief overview of the robot, and also the programming, the commands that might be used inside the robot. So now I will give it over to Mr. Jagadishan, who will be demonstrating to you with the help of the Cirrus software, which has got all those robot possibilities.
Okay, good afternoon to all. The same way, yesterday I showed the PLC program with this Cirrus software. Today I'm going to use a software, the same Cirrus, but here I would like to show some robotic simulation from this Cirrus software. So first, let me go with the basic programming part of this Cirrus software. Let me create a new model in this Cirrus. So this, I'll give a new name for that. Okay. So I'll give a name, some paste one. So hereby I created the new project for the robotic model. So now there is a screen here, a model explorer. This I can close. Okay. Now I'll open this model library. So here I can show you some of the models which are available in the Cirrus software. So in the model library, there is an option here, robots. So in this software, we have 18 brands of robots. Okay, in a single software carries more than 18 brands. In the 18 brands example, you can see in the ABB, we have more than 100 models. So these are the robots from the ABB. So you can see there, these are some SCARA robots. So these are some SCARA robots. And here you can see these are the articulated robots. Then you can see some, these are the heavyweight material handling robots. So with the robots, you can see in the right side there, you will have the specifications. So here you can see these are the specification of the particular joints. So the maximum angle which can move for each and every joint, you will get the information. Then you can see this is the payload of the particular robot. Then you can see this is the repeatability of the particular robot, then this temperature, then the weight of the robot. So like that, we have so many robots from ABB. The same way, I can show you some other brand. Example, I can show you from some Fanuc. So these are the robots from Fanuc. So these are some LR-800 ID. So these robots payload is around some 5 kg. So here you can see these are some robots. Uh, uh, so in the Fanuc, we have more than 300 models in the software. The same way you can see in the KUKA also. KUKA, we have some 6 segments. In the heavy duty, we have 100 robots. Example, this robot payload maximum we can achieve up to 300 kg. So these are the robots comes under the heavy duty segments. Okay, so you can take any robot to your project. You can program the same robot with their manufacturer language itself. Example, if you are talking about the Mitsubishi robot, the Mitsubishi robot programming language is Melfa Basics. The same way for the KUKA robots, there is a language called KRL. Then about the Mitsubishi, you can see here. So in the Mitsubishi itself, we have so many segments. So first, let me load some small robots. Okay, that is RV4FL. So this is the robot I'm going to use for this project to show you some small teaching points as well as running of a robot simulation. So this robot has 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, so all the drives are from this robot is AC servo motor. The maximum reachable for this robot is 649 mm. So the first joint, there is totally 480 degree you can achieve. Not 480 degree. Yes, 480 degree in the negative side, minus 240 in the positive side, plus 240. Like that. For the giant 2, you can achieve 336 degrees. For the giant 3, 250. Giant 4, 540. Giant 5, 623. And giant 6, 720. The maximum speed for this robot is 9000 millimeter per second. The payload for this robot is 4 kg. Okay, now let me load this robot to my project screen. So for clicking the add, I can load the robot to this main screen. So there is a move option here. I will move this robot. Okay, so yes. So next, if I want to have a parallel grippers or some other vacuum grippers, so in the library itself we have an option grippers. Okay, so here I'll use a gripper called parallel gripper. So now the parallel gripper is attached with my RV4FL robot. So this robot is from Mitsubishi. So if you want to run this robot, we have to write the program in the Melfa Basics 5. Okay, for that we have to create a project. So you have to go to the project management. So here first I need to create a project with the Melfa Basics 5. So I can give any name. So I'll give name Melfa. Okay. So after creating this, I need to create 2 more files. So one is from the program file, that is a format is MB5. So that is created now. Then I need to create another one, that is a position list. So from the program, we have to write the coding for this robot. From this position list, we have to teach the robot. So whichever teaching points robot need to move, no. So that teaching points, the position list, we have to teach from this .pos file. Now we have a. So this is from the teaching window. So this is from the Melfa Basics coding window. So here you have a model. Now let me teach the robot. Okay, from a teach pendant. So there is an option from this programming toolbar. So this is the teaching. Okay, this is the teaching. From this teaching, I can move the robot. So the teaching is nothing but a teach pendant. In the real hardware, you will have the teach pendant. So from the teach pendant, you can just operate the joints. You can move in the joint coordinate or you can move in the Cartesian coordinate. Okay. So let me go with the joint coordinate. So here you can see there are 6 joints in this. So the first joint, J1 is a first joint, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6. So now I'll keep this robot in the middle. Okay. Now I will save this position as home position. So I will insert this. Now I can give a command. Okay, that is home position. So this is what my point 1. Okay, this is a position 1. Now if I want to move to the robot to some other position, so I can just operate like this. If I want to save this, if I want to record this position, I can just right click in this position window. I can just insert. So if I want to give a command, so I can click a right click on the teaching point. I can give the property. Example, we can give some position 1. So like that we can. This is from position 2. So I can give this position 2. So like this, we can teach the robot. If you want to record, just you can record it. So then if you want to read the second joint, insert in the other direction. If you want to run thing, so if you want to move the robot with a slower speed, so here you can, there is a speed override in your teaching. There you can decide the speed. Example, if you want to give some 2, so the speed override is now 2%. Now if I move the third joint, you can see, so this is what my speed now. So if I want to record this, I'll record. Okay, now this is the same third joint. Okay, I want to record like this. We can do the things in the joint coordinate. The joint coordinate, all the joints runs independently. Okay, so you can run the joints individually. Okay, it will not run together. Okay, the joints will move individually. Now example, I taught to the robot some 9 teaching points. Okay, so these 9 teaching points, I have to write a program for this. Okay, so in the first side, I will define the speed of the particular project. So example, if I want to run this one in the 100 millimeter per second, I can keep 100. This 100 denotes in terms of per second. The same way I can decide the acceleration also. So that is a command called ACCEL. Okay, if I give some 100, which means millimeter per meter per second square, that is a acceleration. Then if I want to move the robot in the point-to-point motion, I can use the command MOV. So that is a MOV point 1. Same, I'm going for the point-to-point motion. P3, move P4, move P5, move P6, move P7, move P8, move P9. So if I want to go for a continuous operation of this particular teaching points, so there is a command. Here you can give a repeat mode. From which point you want to run this program in a continuous mode, there you can enter the code. Okay, this is what the repeated operation. So if you want to keep any delay between the position, you can use the command called DLY. You can keep some 1. This 1 denotes in terms of second. The same way you can keep delay anywhere. So this is what the command DLY. So here also I can keep some delay. So now my Melfa basics coding is ready, as well as my position teaching also ready. Now I can go for a compile of this program. Under program, compile option. So yes, I want to compile this. So you can see here, there is no error. One project is successfully, then 0 failed. Now I can go for a running of this robot. Workspaces, robot programming. Okay. Now you can see from the left side, you can see there is a model window. In the right side top, that is a coding window. In the right below, you can see the position list. Okay. Now I can simulate the same. You can see the robot is working as per the teaching points as well as this Melfa basics program. You can see there is a delay is happening between the point 4 and 5. then another delay is happening between the 0.7 and 8, then the operation is running continuously with the go to repeat mode. Okay, this is what the basic coding from the Milfa Basics program actually. Now I will show you the real industrial application of the same robot. Okay, for that I will load another model. Okay, stop. Okay. Okay. Now, this is what the main task I'm trying to show. Okay. So here we use the robot called RV2AJ. The robot has 5 joints. Okay. With this, let me first create a new project for this. So I should go to the project. I'll create a project for previous robot, that is a RV2FL. The programming language is Milfa Basics 5, but for this RV2AJ, the programming code is Milfa Basics 4. So I'll create a Milfa Basics 4. So I'll give a name test 2. Okay. So Milfa Basic 4 is created. Now I need to create 2 programs. One is program.mb4. Okay, then I need to create another one, that is a position window. Okay, now I can close this project management window. I can minimize this also. Okay, now I need to take a before that I'll explain the task. What's the task I'm going to do? So here the robot is RV2AJ. The robot is equipped with a parallel gripper. Okay, so you can see the table over there. You can see the table over there. In the table, you can see there are 2 pallets. Each pallet has 3 positions. So consider this is the first pallet. Okay. Then consider this is the second pallet. Okay. In the first pallet, I have 3 positions. Consider this as pallet 1, position 1. Then you can consider as middle one as a pallet 1, position 2. You can consider as pallet 1, position 3. Then you can consider this as pallet 2. Okay, in the pallet 2, in the top one, you can see that is a position 1, pallet 2. The next one, middle one consider as a pallet 2, position 2. Then last one you can consider as a pallet 2, position 3. Okay, here I have 3 boxes. Okay, I have 3 objects. One is with the red color, another is with the green color, one more is with the blue color. Okay, I have 3 objects in my table. So what I am going to do, I will teach my robot to pick the red one first and place it to the first pallet. Then again, I'll teach the robot to pick a green one and place it to the first pallet again in the middle position. In the next one, I'll teach the robot to pick a blue object and place it to the pallet 1, position number 3. After that, I will pick all the 3 objects from the pallet 1. I will place it to the pallet 2. Okay. So this is what the operation I'm going to do. I'll explain one more time the task. The robot need to take objects. The red object should be taken from the table and place it to the pallet. Okay. Then I'll take a green object. I'll place it to the pallet 1, position 2. Then I'll take a blue object. I'll place it to the pallet 1, position 3. After that, I will take all the 3 objects from the pallet 1 by 1. Then I will place it to the pallet 2. This is what the task I'm going to do. So for that, I need a teach pendant mainly. So here you can see. So I have a teach-in window. Okay. Then I have a model window. Then I have a teach pendant. So here in the previous demo, I shown a joint coordinate. So this project, I would like to show you with the Cartesian coordinate. The Cartesian, in the joint coordinate, you can run the joints individually, independently, but in the Cartesian coordinate, the joints are moving as per the axis. Okay, we have a 3 axis, Z, Y, X, Y, Z, Okay, then you have a 3 more movements. Okay, that is called roll, pitch, yaw. There is a R, which means roll. P, there is a pitch. Y, you can see there is a yaw. Okay, next one, the reference, we are taking the axis from the robot base. Okay, then after that there is a TCP. The TCP means it's a tool center point. So we are considering this gripping point is a middle of your tool. Okay, then here in the below you can see speed override. This you can adjust the move incrementally, which means you can move the robot by also, or you can move the robot degree by degree also. Okay, now let me go with the first teaching point. Okay, first I need to teach the robot to go to the red color box. So for that I will try to move the robot. So before that I will reduce the speed override to 2%. Okay, because if it is a 10%, the robot moves so faster. I'll go with the 2%. Okay, okay, now I'll move the Y axis. Okay, okay, so I'll move the Z axis. Okay, 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 then now I go with the pitch movement. Okay, so because my gripper only need to go near to the particular red color box, so I'm moving pitch movement. Okay, okay, now I can go a little bit near to the box by moving the Z axis. Now I can rotate a little bit like this, so you can see easily. Okay, so Z. Again I can go for the pitch movement. Okay, you can see over there there is a pitch movement is happening. Okay, now I can take little bit back, which means X axis, X. Okay, now still I can go down. Okay, so now I'll move the robot little bit on some other angle. Okay, see. Okay, now I'm moving the yaw movement. Okay, yeah, you can enter the value also. Okay, now I'll try to move to some minus 170. Okay, still I need so I'll try to move to, yes, 180. Yes, fine. Then I'll go for a roll movement. The roll I need around I'll try with 130. Okay, yes. Okay, still I can move the robot in some other angle. Yes. Okay. Okay, further I can go for it. I'll go with 110. Okay, there is a singularity error. Okay, so okay. So here speed override I'll make it to some 10%. So when you move the roll pitch, yeah, you can keep it as 10%, but when you move the axis you have to go with the okay, so this I'll go with the minus 180. Yes, the pitch I don't want. Yes, the roll I can go for some minus 90 degree. Okay, now is somewhat better, but in the you can see over there is a yellow color ball in middle of the red color workpiece. That is a tool center point that should be placed middle of the objects. So for that I'll go with the incremental movement. Okay, so with that I'll go with a 2 mm by 2 mm in the Z axis. Okay, Okay. I feel so. This also I can keep some 97. Okay, then I'll go for a y-axis. Okay, this I'll go with the 1 mm. Move incremental, I'll go with a 1 mm. Okay. So now you can see the gripping, the gripper is somewhat in the middle, but still I can go a little bit. So in the Z axis, I can go a little bit down. So still I can go a little bit down, 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 down. I can, okay. Now my robot is ready to pick the red object. So this point I can record. So in the teaching window, in the position window, I can insert this position. So this position I can save it as red box. Okay. Now my point one is ready. Now I should go for the teaching. I should go to the green color box. Okay. So for that I will move the x-axis near to the green box. Okay. Okay, I'm going near to the green color box. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now I'll rotate the robot in some other angle. Now I need some y-axis. Okay. Now we have now we are ready with the position. Okay. I think we are okay with the position for gripping the green color object. Okay, because our tool center point is now middle of our object. Okay, now the robot is not touching the table, it is not touching the object. You can see over there. Okay, it is not touching the object in all the side. Okay, now I'm ready with the green color box. So I'll record this position. Okay, I'm recording this position as green color box. So that is green box. Okay. Now I have each 2 points. First one is a red color box position. Another one is a green color. Now I'll move to the blue box side. So before that, I'll rotate in some other side. Okay. Now I need to move the first x-axis. Okay. So here I'll move incrementally by 3 mm. Okay, because the robot is moving very slowly. Yes, now somewhat better. Okay. Okay, now I will move by 1 mm. Okay. Rotate. Okay. Now I'll move a little bit on the y direction. Okay. The move incrementally I'll do by 2 mm by. Oh, then it goes so faster. So I feel 185 or 184. I'll check 184 mm. Okay. Okay. Now 184 is a little bit better. Yes. So I zoom a little bit. Okay. I'll move a little bit up. Okay. Yes. Now I'll ready with this position. I'll I'll move Z axis, Y axis little bit. Okay. Okay, now it is, now my tool center point is middle of my object. So now the blue box position is ready. Okay, now I can record this. So I'll record this as blue box, position P3 is a blue box. Okay. Now I need to go for a palette positioning. Okay, for the palette positioning, in the palette, first palette, the first palette, first position I need to teach. So I'll move by 5 mm by 5 mm. Okay. 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 Now I'll move to the this. I'll go with the 1 mm by 1 mm. Okay. Okay. Okay, now the x-axis is ready. Okay, now I need to go for a y-axis. Okay, now okay, now palette 1 position also ready, I think. Yes, this is also ready. Okay, now I can keep the, now I can record this point as palette position, palette 1 position 1. I'll record this. Okay, I'll insert this position, then I'll record this as palette 1 position 1. Okay, the same way now I need to teach the second position. Okay, we teach the second position. Now I need to go for the, sorry, just let it be. Now I'm moving the robot to the palette 1 position 2. Okay, now my x-axis side is ready. Now I'll go for a y-axis. Okay, now this is also ready. Now palette 2 position, sorry, palette 1 position, palette 1 position 2 is, I'll record this as P5. I'll insert this. Okay, then I'll save this as palette 1 position 2. Okay, now I teach some 5 teaching points. Now I'll go for a palette 1 position 3. For that, I need to move my, sorry, x-axis to the x-axis to the position palette 1 position number 3. Okay, 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 now x-axis is ready. Now I need to move the y-axis, so I'll check the y-axis. Okay, that is also ready. Okay, now I can record this as P6. I'll record this as P6. Then I'll give a comment on this palette to 1 position 3. Okay. Now I have teach some 6 teaching points. Okay, now I have teach some 6 teaching points. So this is my home position. Actually, the home position I will record it as P7. Okay, I will insert this. Okay, I will record this as home position. Okay. So now I will first go for the picking of a red object. Okay. Then I will place it to the palette 1 position 1. Then I will go for the green box. I'll pick the green box from the table. Then I will place it to the palette 1 position 2. Then after that I'll go for a last object, that is a blue. I will pick the blue from the table. Then I will place it to the palette 1 position 3. Okay. So so first position is nothing but my red box. Position 2 is my green box. P3 is my blue box position. P4 is my palette 1 position 1. P5 is my palette 1 position 2. P6 is my palette 1 position 3. P7 is my home position. Okay. Now in the palette 2 we will see later. Okay, because we have very less time. So I will try to show you the full running of a program. So I need to go for a coding of this same. Okay. Now I can close this teach-in window. We don't want a teach-in window further. Now I can go for the coding of a program. So Windows workspaces, here I can go for a robot programming. Okay. Now in the right side, I need to start for the coding of a program. So for that, in the Melfa Basics 4, we have a coding type. So if you want to type any coding, we have to go with the numbers first. Okay, 100, 110, 120, 130, like that we have to go for it. So first, let me move the robot to the point 1. Okay, but I'll go for some offset. So directly before that, I will fix the speed for the particular operation. I'll go for the particular speed. So I'll keep some 50 millimeter per second. Okay, so we can see the robot running in the very normal speed. Okay, I will fix the speed also. Okay, then now I will move the robot in the point-to-point motion. Okay, I will move to the point 1, which means red box. Okay, so there I will not robot directly to the point 1. I will keep some offset 40 mm. Okay, after that I will move the robot in the linear motion, that is a MVS. Okay, I'll move to the point 1 directly. The point 1 is nothing but, so this you can keep like this. So pick green like this. So I'll consider this pick green. So now as per the 120th line, I moved the robot to the point 1 in the linear motion. Now I will activate the gripper. Okay, that is H close 1. After that, after H close, I don't want to take the object immediately. I'll keep some delay. Okay, there is a DLY 0.5, which in terms of seconds, that is a 0.5 second. After this, now I don't want to go directly to the palette 1 position 1. Okay, first I will take little bit up, because when you take an object and when you may hit your other objects, or it may lead for the collision. So for that we will pick an object. After that we will lift it up little bit. So for that again I'll move to the linear motion in the point 1. Then I'll keep some offset. Okay, now I can proceed for the so for the object, I don't want directly go to the point 4. Okay, this is my point 4. I don't want to directly go to the point 4. So I will go near to the point 4. Then I will keep some offset, that is a -40. Okay, then after going near to the point 4, I will move to the point 4 directly. Okay, so the 160th line is telling about we have to move to the point 4, but not directly to the point 4. We will move little bit offset in the 40 mm. Okay, the -40 denotes that is a offset in the mm side. Okay, in the 170th line, we will move the robot in the linear motion, that is a MVS. Okay, then we go to the directly to the P4. P4 is nothing but a pallet 1 position 1. Okay, so here we can like place sorry, not green, it's a red one. Okay, then here we can write place red. Okay, now I can open my gripper. So for that there is a command h open, so I can make it a true. Okay, the h open denotes gripper open. Okay, 1 denotes signal, which means true. Okay, after h open I don't want to go immediately. Okay, so I will keep a delay there, 0.5 second. Okay, now my object is placed in the pallet 1 position 1. Okay, now I can go to the green box position. In the green box position also, I don't want to go directly to the green box, so I'll move to the point 2 with the offset. Okay, with the offset. So after that I will move directly to the point 2. Okay, which means a green box. You can see the P2 is a green box. Okay, now after moving to the point 2, okay, I will keep a I need to open the close the gripper, because I need to take objects. So that is a h close. I'll make a signal high, that is a h close 1. Now I can keep some delay. I don't want to take the object after closing immediately, so I'll keep some delay there. That is a DLY 0.5. Then after this, again I will move to the P2 with the offset. Okay, because if we move directly to the pallet, the objects may hit with the boxes, may hit with the pallet. Okay, so we have to take a little bit up and we have to place to the pallet. So that's why I'm always using this offset actually. So now as per this 240th line, the robot will take a green objects and it will go to the it will go to the point 2 with the 40 mm offset. After that I can go to the placing of objects. Okay, I can go to the placing of green objects. So pallet 1 position 2 is 0.5. So there also I don't want to go directly, I'll go with the offset. Okay, then in the 260th line I can move to the P5 directly. In the 270th line, now I can open my gripper. Okay, now in the 280th line, after opening I don't want to take the robot immediately back. Okay, so I'll keep some delay, 0.5 second. Okay, in the 290th line I'll move the robot again to the P5 with the offset, because the gripper teeth, the gripper tool may hit the object, so I need to take it up a little bit. So that is why I use the offset here. So this is my P5. Okay, P5 with the -40 offset. So the -40 denotes the z-axis in the upward direction. If you give a +40, which means the z direction in the downside. Okay, so we have to take a robot a little bit up. So only I'm using this -40. Okay, now my green object is placed on the this one. Okay, now I can proceed for the blue box, that is a position position 3. So there also I don't want to move P3 directly, I'll go with offset. Okay, then I will go with the P3 now. Okay, which means directly to the box. After offset, I'm moving the robot to the point 3. Now I can close my gripper to take a blue object. Now I have a delay, I need to keep a delay. Okay, so that is a 0.5 second. Then there is a, after delay, I can go a little bit up, that is above the point 3. I can go for some -40 mm, that is a MVS P3 -40. Okay, then now I can proceed for the point 6. The point 6 is nothing but my placing of a blue box in the pallet 1 position 3. So there also I don't want to go directly. So there is point P6 with the offset minus 40. Okay. Then in the 350th line, I can move the robot in the linear motion P6 directly. Now 360th line, I can open my gripper. Open my gripper, H open 1. After that, I have a I need to keep a delay. Okay, delay 0.5 second. Okay. After that, I can move to the home. Yes, 380. I can move to the home. Home is my P7. Home is my, so it's my P7. So now I teach the robot some 7 points. First point is my taking off a red box. Point 2 is a green box. Point 3 is a blue box. Okay. Point 4 is a placing of a red object in the palette 1 position 1. Then next one is a palette 1 position 2 for placing the green one. Okay. For the point 6 is a blue object placing of a palette 1 position 3. My P7 is a home condition. Okay. So here I have written the code in the Melfa Basics 4. Okay. Now my program is ready. I can go for the compile. Okay. For the compile, there is option here programming. Programming compile. Okay. Yes, I want to compile it. Yes, you can see that there is a failure. Okay. I think somewhere P6 move P6 and minus 40. Okay, there is a 340 is there. That is a problem. Now I can go with this 341 also, so that is not an issue. Then okay, now the problem is solved. I think now again I can compile it. Program compile. Yes, you can see there the project is successfully compiled. Now I can go for the simulation of this. For running this simulation, the robot now it runs in the 50 millimeter per second. Okay. Now I'll start the simulation for that. I'll zoom little bit the robot. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now we can see. Yes, going to the red box, taking it and placing to the palette 1 position 1. Yes. Yes, you can see. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now moving to the home position. So I feel something issue with the after placing the red box. Okay, the robot is moving in some other way. I'll check this. Okay. Okay, taking it and placing to this. Yes. When the robot moves from red to the green, it is making the collision with the red objects. So that I need to correct. Okay. Now for that I need to go for this coding. So as per the 100th line speed I defined, as per the 110 line, moving the robot to the 0.1 minus 40, then moving this one is to minus 40. Delay. Yes, this I don't know. Minus 40 as per 150th line. Move is P1. Okay. Then P4 to the minus 40. Okay. Now we'll compile this one. Okay. Okay, somewhere I forgot to give the offset in the after placing this red box. Okay, so here it is placing it. Okay, so yes, move PS, move P2. This is my P2. Okay, okay. Ah, yes. Here after this, I need to uh, I need to move my robot in the 0.1 minus 40 offset. Okay, sorry, not 0.1, 0.4, P4. Yes. After placing this, I forgot to give the offset on the okay. That is a problem. That's why this gripper was touching this, making the collision with the red objects. Okay, now it will not make a collision. We will see. Okay. Now I will go for a compile. Okay, compile. Yes, my program is getting compiled. So wait for a minute. So like this, in this Sira software, we have so many models. So now you can see there, one project is successfully running. Now I'll run the simulation. Yes, okay. Taking a red one, placing to the palette to one position one. Now you can see, now it is not making the collision with the red one. Previously I forgot to give the offset. The offset was the issue. It was making the collision with the red one. Now the problem is solved. Now the robot is picking the all the three objects and it is placing nicely to the palette. Okay. So you can again if you want to teach this robot to the palette 2 position 1 position 2 position 3, we can teach again 3 more points we can teach. Okay, after that again we can write the coding in the program for running the same simulation. Okay, there if you go for a further programming, you can do a repeated operation also. You can do some if condition also. If you want to run this whole operation for some particular number of times, that is also condition is there. If condition is there, you can go for if condition. The robot will run as per the particular numbers. Or if you want to run this robot in the continuous operation, okay, repeated more operation, you can use the command called go to command. Okay, like this we have so many options in this coding. Okay, so here we have done with this Melfa basics program. So still I want to show you some more options which are available in this Zero software. Okay, now I'll close this Mitsubishi one. Okay, now I want to show you another interested library component which we have in the Zero software. Okay, that is okay. So that is I'll close this Model Explorer window. I'll show you the model library now. Okay, this is my model library. So there we have a virtual human for in the software to operate the MPS stations or to operate the robots. Okay, so here you can see there is a blue collar worker. So you can see there there is a factory worker. If you want to add this fellow to our project, you can add also. Okay, or if you want 2 more fellows, you can add also. Okay, so you can keep like this. Okay, now these are the virtual humans are available in this software. Okay, so these are like robots. These virtual humans also are like robots. Okay, if you want to teach robot, if you want to teach this virtual human, you can go for the teaching. Okay, where in the industry robots, which will have 5 degrees of freedom, 5 joints or 6 joints. Okay, but this virtual humans has 30 joints actually. Okay, you can see there now. I'll let me move this first. Okay, now you can see now body forward. This is one joint. Okay, this is the body sideward. Okay, body rotate. Okay, so head turn. You can see head is turning on the right side. Then you can see head up and down. Then if you want to see the motion from the right hand, you can see right hand motion. Okay, see this is the right arm sideward motion. Okay, like this we have a this is for the left hand. So left hand fingers, you can see the fingers is we can activate. How we are activating these robot grippers, the same way you can go for this virtual human. So you can see this is a left leg sidewards. This is the left leg forward. Okay, so lower, so foot. So like this, you can insert this virtual human to the MPS stations. We can teach to the virtual humans to operate the MPS station in the virtual software itself. Okay, that is possible in this Zero software. Then I will show you some more applications from the robot. Robot. Okay. So there is some lab automation robot. Okay. So this is the lab automation. So the this is also Mitsubishi robot. The robot is RVE2. Okay, RVE2. They wrote in the Mitsubishi robot language. Okay, here you can see there is some 39 teaching points. Okay, now I'll show you the running of this simulation. You can see. So now there are 3 types of grippers are required for this lab automation. Okay, so this model also you can take it to the Zero software. You can teach the robot. You can teach the robot to select a particular gripper. After that, you can teach the teaching points. Then you can go for a writing of a coding. As per the coding, compile it. Okay, the program, the robot will run as per the Alpha Basics code as well as teaching points. Okay, so like this, we have so many models. So one more option is also available from this software. You can create your own demo model also. If you want to create your own robot with some particular number of joints, okay, that is also possible from this. We have a demo robot in the model library. So you can select that demo robot. Okay, with that you can go for a designing of a particular robot. Or if you want to take make your own automation system with 2 robots or 3 robots, or if you want to go with conveyor option, or if you want to go with some more applications, okay, all the things you can design in the Zero software. You can keep a production line. In the production line, you can keep some objects. You can teach to the robots to do some pick and place operation. You can run the conveyor. Okay, you can keep multiple robots, and you can keep multiple brand robots in a single project. Okay, that is also possible from this. So after this, I will show you one more interesting robot from ABB. Okay, so this is what the one of the application from the Zero software lab automation. Now I'll show you one more interesting robot model from ABB. Okay. So there is a robot from ABB. I'll go to the model library first. Model library. I'll go to the robots part. Okay. So there is a robot called Yumi. Okay. IRB 14,000 Yumi robot. So this robot is also, it is a industry articulated arm robot, but this robot has 2 manipulators in this. There is only one base. So I'll make it a little bit zoom. Okay. So you can see there. Okay, you can see there. So this is the robot Yumi 14,000 robot. So there are 2 manipulator in this. Okay, two manipulator in this. So if you want to keep two grippers, you can keep it. So I'll place the, so in the previous Mitsubishi robots, there was only one manipulator. You have to teach one teaching position as well as one Melfa basics program. But for this robot, we have two manipulators. Okay, so we have to teach two programs. We have to teach two coding as well as two teaching points. So if you want to run this Yumi robot in the left arm, you have to select this as left. Okay, if you want to move the right one, you have to select this. So now first I will keep the grippers. So I'll go to the model gripper. So there is option gripper. I'll keep a vacuum gripper. Now you can see to the right side, I kept the vacuum gripper. From the left side, I'll go for a parallel gripper, left arm. You can see. Yes. Now this robot is equipped with a left arm is with, right arm is with vacuum gripper, left arm is with parallel gripper. Okay. Now if you want to teach this robot, so you can, I'll show you a small teaching of this robot. I'll take a teaching. Okay. Now in this robot there are 7 joints. Okay. Now if I want to make the movement of left arm, I need to select here left. Okay. Then see here, see there. Now this is a first joint movement. You can see. Okay. So like this, you can create 2 programs. Okay, for the 2 arms. Now this is the second joint from the left side. You can see this is the 3rd joint, the 4th joint, so 5th joint, the 6th joint, and this is the 7th joint. Now if I want to move the robot right arm side, you have to select from the top Yumi right arm. Now you can move the 1st joint. So this is also, you can do the program. Okay, only thing, you have to create 2 coding program. You have to teach 2 times position list for the left arm and the right arm. Okay, this is the joint 5 from the right side arm. Okay, you can see. Now you can see, now the joint 7 is moving. Okay, from the right side. Okay, so like this, I can tell approximately we have more than 3,500 robot models are available in this single software. Okay, if you go for some other software, only the particular manufacturer will have their own models. But in this software itself, we have more than 3,500 models of different brands. So we have totally 18 brands. These are all about the Ceros robotics part. So hereby I'm closing this demo part from the robot side. So now I'm expecting questions from the participants. Okay, if you have any doubt on the Ceros robotic program side or doubt on the Ceros software, you can just unmute your mic and you can ask your doubts. Prashant sir, participants can unmute your mic and they can ask questions. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. You can create your own model. Okay. You can create your own robot also. You can create your own production line also. Okay. So same thing, you can configure to the robot. You can configure to the conveyor. You can keep the sensors to detect the objects. You can keep the grippers to switch on and switch off, to open and close. All the things are possible from this Ceros software. But the only thing, what I'm showing now, the Ceros Studio. So we have 2 softwares in this. One is Ceros Studio, another is a Ceros Education. In the Ceros Education, we have some 5 brands of robot. Okay, but in the Ceros Studio, we have 8 of robot. The Ceros Studio is a software for mainly designing of your own production line and running of the same simulation to find out the cycle time. But in the education, Xerox education software, we mainly we mainly giving to the educational institutes for the learning of a PLC program as well as robotic programs. Okay, but in the Xerox software, Xerox Studio software, you can do all the modeling as well as you can do your own production line.
Okay, thank you. So regarding this programming aspect of this these robots.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Now, if I'm using a ABB robot, then I need to know the language, the programming language, which is compatible with ABB.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if I'm
I
using
can tell
Mitsubishi,
you.
so is there any international standard so that for me it becomes very difficult to learn the programming language of all the different manufacturers?
Yes, sir. I'll tell you one more. So in the software, not in the software, generally each and every manufacturer will have their own programming language. Example, I was telling Mitsubishi have their own language called Melfa Basics. For the ABB people, they have a own language called Rapid. Okay, the same way KUKA people, they have a language called KUKA Robot Language, KRL. But in the Xerox software, you can do their own manufacturer language, or you can use the common programming language. Okay, the common programming language name is Industrial Robot Language, IRL. Using of IRL, you can program all the robots. For all the robots, you can do the program in a single programming language, so you can able to run all the robot models. Okay, no need to learn the particular robot language. You can learn the common language, that is a IRL, Industrial Robot Language. That is enough to run all the robot brands and all the robot models.
Participants, if you have any questions, please you can unmute and you can speak.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes.
Sir, I have only one doubt, that the ABB is there and Festo is there. How this Festo control is totally different from ABB, or ABB, how it is different?
Sir, actually, Festo is a company, okay, who provides the solutions in the industrial automation. Okay, so we are from the department called Festo Didactic. Okay, so we focus on the educational training kits. Example, you can say a pneumatic training kit, electro-pneumatic training kit, PLC training kit. Like that, we give solutions to the educational institutes. Okay, we have our own brand of robots. We have our own PLC also. Okay, depends on the customer requirements. We can able to customize the PLCs. Like we have a tie-up with the ABB. We have a tie-up with the KUKA. We have tie-up with the Mitsubishi. So we have their own specification of all the robot models. Then we made it to the particular software. Okay, ABB is different. Okay, then Festo is different. We just combined with the company ABB KUKA, okay, to take their models into their in our Xerox software. That is only the agreement between us.
Whether Festo is doing any robot for the educational purpose, sir?
Sir, actually, this Festo and ABB are having different product offerings actually. ABB is into robots, then it has got motors and other things like that, which has got to offer for the industry sector. We offer components for automation, in the sense like we have cylinders, electrical actuators, then grippers, handling equipments, and that sort of thing. We have our own product range when compared to ABB. So ABB also similarly has got these sorts of divisions which is offering. So Festo Didactic is the training arm of Festo. So in addition to the offerings which we offer to the industry, we also have a exclusive division which only caters to the training requirements. So we have trainer kits, we have softwares, we have teachwares, and maybe many other things that support the thing. Like under the software, we have this Xerox Robotics, which offers a easy solution with all the industrial robots incorporated inside there. So therefore, what happens is, without even having those robots, you can simply work on with the Festo softwares, which are more compatible to what is being used in the industry.
Sir, I can understand, but what
Okay.
my doubt is, already we are having a Festo control in our college.
Okay.
Whether you are designing any robot system is there, na, then it is easy for us. That's why I'm asking.
Our main focus is not into robots. We have control engineering components which is used in automation. That is our main focus. So as you saw the VTM, where you can operate a valve with the help of an app. So something like that is what is our portfolio actually. So the training arm, we take different brands of robots and offer it to the customer. In case if he wants a Mitsubishi robot, we can offer that. Similarly, KUKA robot or whatever is the thing like. So we offer them under the training division, but under the product
Okay,
division,
okay.
we
Thank you,
don't
sir.
have
Thank you, sir.
robots.
Thanks for your feedback, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sir, now these simulations what we have performed using Cirrus, now whatever you have demonstrated, it is basically fine with respect to the kinematics of these robots, with respect to the work envelope, the reachability, and the position and all those things. Can we also simulate the dynamics of these robots? What is the joint? What is the torque acting at these joints? What are the forces applied by the grippers? Are there any tools for this for these kind of simulations in the Cirrus?
No, as far as we are using the software, we cannot find the forces and other things like that. It can only tell you the displacement, maybe acceleration, speed, and that sort of thing, cycle time, but it will not tell you the force that is acting on it. Force that is acting.
Okay. So is there any questions from the participant side? Yeah, I believe there are no further questions. Suppose if you still have any questions, you can drop us your questions. I think there is one question from participant Mr. Rajaram. He would like to know how is this different from Flex Sim software?
Which one, sir?
Flex Sim software. I think there is another simulation software by the name Flex Sim.
Okay, actually, we are not knowing
Yeah.
about that software.
Yes. Okay.
So FlexSim or FluidSim?
That's what I was just wondering. I think he has written FlexSim. If the participant is present, you can just clarify whether it is FlexSim or FluidSim.
Okay, I think participant can unmute and speak, no?
Yes. Anyway, so what we can understand is, these Cirrus software, it has so many modules. Now, in order to master these many modules in a very short time, it's very difficult. So, as you mentioned in the yesterday's session, there is comprehensive help tutorials which are available in the software itself. So my question is, are there any video tutorials that are available? Maybe the Festo in their websites or in their any other social media where you have posted video tutorials so that people can follow step by step.
Yes, sir. Regarding the help file, no, you have all the help files in the software itself. Okay. Then one more regarding the basic programming of PLC and the basic programming of robot that is available in the social media. You can find out in the YouTube also. So I can show you in the help file here. So here, if you want to go with the robot programming, so here you can see. So this is how about the basics. Okay. So description of the particular robot, So here you can see the two types of robot. Then they will be explaining the coordinates. Okay. So this is about the IO connections. Okay. So there we use the H close and H open. Okay. Then about the programming of this. Okay. So here is the explanation of the command. Okay. So all the things are available in help file itself. Still, if they want any video or something, we have a basic running of a robot as well as basic connection between the Codesys and the Zero software videos are available in the YouTube. So participants easily they can search in the YouTube like Festo Codesys with Zeros, they can find out the video.
It should be actually, because this IRL is developed by developed for Microsoft platform, as far as I know. So it could be wherever you are simulating with this Windows, this language is applicable. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.